Oh man, the internet, where you can LARP and roleplay as a dog. You could be a teacup. You could be a brave little toaster. We don't give a fuck if we're now role-playing inanimate objects at this point for the latter half, right? Like, there could be people that will be role-playing anything. And the controversy with AC Shadows is really no different. Now, there's probably some small demographic of Japanese gamers out there that are talking about this game in a pretty ill light, but there's also a lot more Americans pretending to be either A, offended for the Japanese, or B, trying to actually be Japanese on Google Translate in order to form a narrative that a lot more Japanese people are dogging on this game. What am I talking about in particular? Well, we got some receipts here of apparently a guy who was, well, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it, a white guy trying to LARP as a Japanese dude, getting exposed, saying he was like some big time translator or whatever who had like some fucking degree in translating shit, and he got busted. And he's like, he offered this rebuttal. Oh, people saying I'm LARPing as Kenji, LOL, when a while ago I was actually pretending to be Garrett. That was an experiment which has now been proved to be very successful. I changed my name to sound American to discuss American politics and other things with Americans. So what? And the response is, a white dude spent a day grifting, LARPing, rebranding his account with a fake profile only to be completely outed within 15 minutes because he's angry that a black man is in a video game. That's it. And the community notes say this user was pretending to be an educator at Tokyo University, but they don't have anyone under that name on staff. They checked it out and he was lying. They went and searched his name and he was lying, and they found his original name, which was this Garrett guy, and he had like his real name before on the Wayback Engine. Shout outs to the internet and the Wayback Engine, because if we didn't have that shit, I think this guy would have been successful in his grift of saying that he is a Tokyo University instructor getting mad at AC Shadows. So this LARPing shit is actually ridiculous. There's another post here of Mr. Kenji talking about his grievances, and the Japanese user responds, "You're not Japanese, you're Yonsei." He says, "I am Japanese, you're a baka. That's not how you use baka in a sentence, you're definitely Yonsei. LOL, you can use baka anywhere in a sentence, or would you rather me just call you a fool in English? No, you can't, because that's not how the language works. If you weren't some Yonsei or Gaijin, you know this." And then he tries to post something on Google Translate. And then the actual Japanese person who can speak Japanese tells him, "Google translated Japanese does not read this way, you illiterate gaijin clown." All right. So we're gonna go back to Madori. All right. And who is Madori? Madori was an infamous leaker of Sega and Atlas content, right? They got like a top tier ranking on leaking stuff out and getting stuff right, which shows they probably had like insider information. Oh, it's a new Virtual Fighter in development, or it's either Sega's bringing back like a lot of classics like Crazy Taxi, or Streets of Rage is getting a new 3D overhaul. And the reason I bring this up as an example is because Madori was also outed for being and pretending to be some Japanese woman who had insider information when they were really just someone else, a white guy pretending to be a young Japanese woman. And they called this person mystic distance. And then they show the account of them, you know, lying and being creepy, and open DMs being exposed, which is, this stuff is pretty bad for a leaker getting exposed this hard. You get the deal though, like someone LARPing as another supposed Japanese woman getting exposed. And I think we need to be more wary of this behavior. We need to be more vigilant, especially when like someone just starts like spouting off at the mouth, or a Japanese person actually corrects them with Google Translate. There are telltale signs we need to watch out for if there is extreme Japanese grifting. All right, that could be an American just pulling your leg. And like I said before, when people were disliking the AC Shadows trailer and they were trying to say, oh, a lot of Japanese people are disliking this, that should be a metric. Again, I can sign on YouTube as an American, go to the Japanese video and leave a dislike, so that doesn't mean shit. So I think people are trying to be so vindicated to find any scrap of a Japanese person complaining about AC Shadows to fit their narrative that, hey, the Japanese hate this a lot, when in actuality it's probably a lot of Japanese people who don't care, or they are completely cool with the fact that Yasuke is in the game. You might find some percent of people who don't care, but I think Japanese people in general as a culture are a lot more reserved and calm than Americans are. So when Americans are rage baiting, you really know and you really see it, and you can understand there might be some misinformation within the silver lining. What is this? Like, I'm just going through everything that I posted so far. Oh, apparently people are trying to use some Japanese political extremists looking to go against AC, saying that, oh, he's gonna look into the matter because he's part of some legislative branch. When okay, so let's go back. I'll show you guys kind of what people are finding and discovering. And I think, of course, it's fucking Grums. Of course it would be. His hero politician, Satoshi Hamada, lost 4 elections in a year without ever getting 10% of the vote. He became a freshman counselor by default because his opponent dropped out. His political party consists of 1 other member, which is what they're trying to show AC2. They're trying to get him to go against it, and they want the game banned in Japan, from what I can tell from all this. So this member of his political party, both were expelled from their former party, and what they're currently a part of now is the Party to Protect People from the NHK. And this is a, obviously, right-wing, direct democracy, anti-communism ideology group. I mean, in all actuality, it probably is some Japanese extremists out there, but I don't think that you should be co-signing the guy who lost 4 elections in a year. He's not really a favorable person to really vote for if that's the case, you know what I mean? So I don't know if I would constitute this as a W. Let's continue on. So I'm seeing like grifting thumbnails about this, and isn't that Shinzo Abe, the guy who was assassinated in these thumbnails, right? It is. So Shinzo Abe actually did have questions about the new Assassin's Creed, but he was killed because of the woke. Okay, so that's already a ridiculous thumbnail as we go along. There's probably a couple more things. Okay, this guy Grums comes up a lot in this grift, and apparently, just to summarize this, you know, he's trying to really push this narrative that Japanese people are doing, you know, they're just completely like in shambles of Yasuke being the protagonist. And he tried to get some sort of art director on board with it, and then the art director later clarified, I am not against their choice of Yasuke. Once again, he's reiterating and speaking for himself, And because of this, I'm noticing a Grum's trend where once the information starts to contradict itself, he deletes the fucking tweet. He deletes everything. Once it's contradicted, he deletes everything because it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the agenda that he's going for. Now, this is hilarious with this petition that has recently come out about AC shadows, and you know, I want to kind of look at it first before I do anything else. I think that's the like main motive here, to look at this petition and see the videos inside of it, and just give it a little glance here, right? So I'm pretty sure just the way it looks alone, I'm pretty sure this was probably written in Google Translate. Oh, it almost has like 100,000 signatures. That's interesting actually, but and I'm not sure if all of these people are real whatsoever. There probably are real people, but are they real Japanese people? That's the main question that I'm asking. Let's look at the comments real quick. I'm sure. Yes. You got a guy that's French in here. Okay. Interesting stuff. I'm looking for the videos though. There was like 2 videos of like 2 white guys in here already. That just makes it kind of skeptical. I found the video posted on Twitter, so let's listen to it.
Konnichiwa.
Oh my god. Konnichiwa. Konnichiwa sensei, how are you? Is that Hasune Miku in the background? What the you can tell he's a true LARPer. You can just tell. Alright, yeah. I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna listen to it, alright? But it is funny.
Konnichiwa. Ubisoft. Watashi wa.
Okay. I'm trying so hard not to laugh my eyeballs out, man. Oh, this is painfully cringe, dude.
Gamer. Remove black people from your video game. DEI. Remove the woke.
This is so funny because it's like remove black people. I'm sure like folks up in arms about this. You know Yasuke existed well before this, well in media, so why are you getting so up in arms? It's just like hilarious. And these are just like, I'm sorry to say, but none of you are looking Japanese so far, so I'm sure there's a lot of Google Translate in there. It's just there's just no way. Someone said that this dude is memeing. I can't tell at this point because there's so many people that are legit serious about this whole situation, to where it's kind of just like one of the solutions is to not buy it, like vote with your wallet. Instead, I think when you give things like this a lot more attention and you start to have a lot more information come out and a lot of misinformation blend in the process, you start to look like a lolcow. Because if you are trying to actually LARP as a Japan university instructor and they find your records and they say this guy has nothing to do with us, that makes you look bad. It really does.
Remove black people from your video.
I hope he's memeing though. I would hope, because well, you got a lot more people like this considering the dude on the left, and I don't know if there's a video of him anywhere that I could look at.
Game. DEI. Remove the woke. Ubisoft. Remove it. Arigatou gozaimasu.
I'm sorry, whether fake or real, I can't take that shit seriously. When people do that, just get on a bunch of petitions and start taking off their shirts and getting naked for a video game or shit like that shit is lame. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's some lame ass, like, why? You know, I don't get it. Like, I'm sure people will be like, oh, you have the freedom of expression, but it doesn't stop the expression from being absolutely cringe. Some of the comments are weird too. As a U.S. Marine who is stationed in Okinawa. What? What? Okay. I am deeply offended by this proposed game. Alright. As a U.S. Marine, I would figure you have a little bit more of a backbone, considering that the military, you probably hear like a bunch of shit. You probably see a bunch of shit. You more than likely have seen the nastiest atrocities that war probably has to offer in certain countries and places. Like, I figure as a U.S. Marine, that hardens you a little bit more as a person. So I don't know why getting offended by a video game is your main sort of judgment call, but whatever, I guess. I might not be Japanese, but I wholeheartedly stand with all of you against this horribly inaccurate atrocity of a game. It's a lot of AC games that are historically inaccurate. You might want to start to play the series a little bit more, given that it is historical fiction. And of course, the top supporters. I wish I could see the rest of the videos, because I do not feel like signing up and making an account. All I gotta say is, to close this off, a lot of this behavior is kind of weird, to be honest. It's like, and this is what being anon on the internet gets you. It gets you people like this who want to not be themselves and role play as a Japanese person, which I mean, you have the liberty to do what you want, clearly, but when it's exposed and called out and seen it, and people do call you weird on your behalf, then just simply like accept it, move on, and try to be factual with your information next time, and maybe this thing won't happen. Or go to some BDSM site where someone is interested in you being Kenji Inafune and having your balls flogged or something. I don't know. There's a lot of strange behavior out there on the internet, and you can just simply say, I'm not buying the game, it doesn't bother me, I'm done, moving on, right? But people can't do that. People are not emotionally mature to do any of that. Instead, you gotta have this weird, crazy narrative that doesn't need to be a thing. I think the Japanese can speak for themselves, and they could also vote with their own wallet if they're not feeling AC Shadows. I'm Renegade Operative. I'm signing out. I'll see you guys next time. Later.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the hell up! You don't hear how fucking stupid you sound. One, it's a fucking video game!